Lisa doesn't have one, she's gonna need one. So he should pick you up there.
Yeah.
There, and then we need these.
Oh,
Absolutely.
we are on air. We'll now call to order the Monday, October 6th meeting of the City of Hayden Planning and Zoning Commission. We have a roll call, please.
Commissioner Erickson,
Here.
Commissioner Johnson's absent, Commissioner Morris,
Here.
and Chair Taylor.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right. Now, have the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Any additions or corrections to the calendar or to the agenda? No. Consent calendar. We've got the approval of the Planning and Zoning Commission regular meeting minutes from September 15th, 2025.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Can I second as the chairman? I'll second.
I can second.
Thank you.
Okay, well, we'll go.
We just do a voice vote. All in favor?
On the consent, no, you need a roll call.
Do you need a roll call? Okay.
Okay, Commissioner Erickson,
Aye.
Commissioner Morris,
Aye.
Chair Taylor.
Aye. Okay, new business. Lisa, you have a presentation for us?
Well, hopefully, I'll take as long as you guys need to, but I'll try to get through the information relatively quickly in order to allow for, I think, the meat of the conversation today, which is your comprehensive plan. But before you tonight is a resolution to find the expansion that's presented on the information in the packet that's been provided to you for the urban renewal district. The finding that the expansion is in general conformance with the comprehensive plan is necessary in order to allow for the council to consider the expansion via ordinance. And so you'll see on here, I just have this is part of the plan. You would have received this as part of your packet, that the amendment was presented to you guys on, we'll fill in the date for general conformance and adoptions with the comprehensive plan. But just to generally get through, I think oops, that's not the right one. Of course, I didn't put it on here, I don't think. I think there's some maps here. Sorry for anybody that has motion sickness. Right. So essentially, the city was looking to, I believe, capture 6 different areas where the intersections were not included, and so we have a new boundary to incorporate those areas. And if you had a chance to review the plan, you'll see they're listed as area 1, I believe it starts at 1E, 1K, 1F, and then it goes on. What's that?
Can't even understand you.
In what way?
I don't use the microphone or something. I can't even understand what you're saying.
That's not a microphone, it's
I don't know.
a recording device only, it's not a microphone.
Well, then, speak up. Well, whatever.
Okay, I'll do my best to speak up. I just didn't understand what you were concerned about. So essentially, the city staff is requesting the Planning and Zoning Commission to, after review of the plan, to find that the expansion areas are in general conformance with the comprehensive plan. Those areas, if you read through, do provide that the zoning districts, underlying zoning districts, apologize, I'm gonna get to here's the nodes. So we broke them up into these nodes. The total amount of area is somewhere around 19 acres overall. The expansion includes some value that doesn't exceed the 10% underneath the urban renewal law. And if you got to everything was in one big packet here. The economic feasibility study, you would find the nodes as well as underlying zoning districts, all to be in consistence with what is proposed to be done in these areas, which for the most part is all public improvements. Those are gonna be your intersections. So not technically affecting and proposed to affect the underlying properties, just those intersections. You'll see on the map here, they're starting from 1A through 1F, the areas are adjacent to or did not initially consider the full intersection, so therefore urban renewal could not invest in those intersections. If you review the plan, proposed summary of the projects, you'll see here, this is another component of the plan that is required. I'll zoom in, so. They are also required to put proposed amounts of revenue that they anticipate receiving towards those projects. So you'll see those listed underneath the intersection and road improvements. And with the exception or expansion of the urban renewal district, we can now move forward with making investments in those to try to get the designs done, and in some cases, do some intersection improvements. And with that, I know this has been an area that the city's been working on for the better part of the last 2 years. I'll stand for any questions that you might have.
Okay. And so basically, this is just adding in those areas so that we could use that money to improve the intersections.
Correct. So when we look at the general conformance with the comprehensive plan, you're going to look at the underlying zoning districts and whether the proposed uses that the district anticipates investing in aligns with what the plan, the comprehensive plan anticipates. And because we are affecting private property, we're not affecting what's going to be done on them. There's no effect. It's a net neutral on the expansion areas as what the comprehensive plan anticipates with respect to zoning. There are going to be other areas that talk about investments in public infrastructure that we do feel is in alignment with. And I don't know if you had any other, I'm looking to Donna if she has any other input that she could potentially add. You'll see that the district anticipates getting about a little over $9 million at the termination of its 2029 year, and how they would look to invest those monies.
Perfect.
And then, yeah, again, you'll see the other projects anticipated in the event that more money is realized.
Okay.
It is different for Planning and Zoning Commission to do a resolution. I don't think it's very commonplace, but the resolution is an opportunity to solidify the vote and bring that forward to council.
Okay.
I'm happy to answer any questions.
I really don't. I think I've read through it.
Yeah.
It just says basically now we can use the money.
Some roads.
Right.
Yep. Okay. So we just need a motion then to approve the resolution and send it to council?
Right, so you would make a motion to approve the resolution that's been presented to you, and that will be forwarded to council with your,
Okay.
after this meeting.
Go ahead and make it. You might have been listening. I will make a motion validating, is that correct, the First Amendment of the capital plan for the Hayden Urban Renewal District as being in conformance with the city's comprehensive plan.
Just for clarity of the record, that was
I'll
a
second that.
motion to approve the resolution. Okay,
Correct.
thank you.
And we have a second from David?
I second on the motion to approve the resolution.
Considering of the resolution. Okay. Have a roll call.
Chair Taylor,
Aye.
Commissioner Morris,
Aye.
Commissioner Erickson,
Aye.
There we go. Now have a workshop. Thank you, Lisa. Donna, do you have a presentation for us?
Well, I don't really have a presentation. At the last Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, we went over the future land use map and kind of got direction from the Planning and Zoning Commission. And then we went back and solidified our red line changes. It became very apparent as those of us that were working in those red line changes, that you couldn't read heads nor tails of those red line changes. So Shannon did a great job finally kind of taking all of the changes that were made and putting them into a document you could actually read. And then at the end of that workshop, the Planning and Zoning Commission requested us to bring back the clean version for your review and for you to provide us any comments that you may have on this. The only two things that I would note is that there are 4 statistics in the comprehensive plan that I'm working on crunching those numbers to bring them current. And they're on page 22 and highlighted. So once those numbers are known, which they aren't at the moment, halfway through the parcels in the city. So once those numbers are known, then those will be brought up current.
Okay.
We changed the future land use map. That required us to have to kind of go through and update that, but we're using the same methodology for those numbers that we used previously, so it is a little bit hand-intensive, labor-intensive to do. And then the other piece is that as we were kind of tweaking in the appendices in the action plan piece, we became very well aware that the table looked weird in comparison to the tables that we had in the main portion of the document. So we turned it around and made it more consistent with the rest of the tables of the document. And we just haven't finished the policy references, the goals and policies references column back to those two at this point in time. So that's, we knew that the clean version of it was really where the important slide as far as this meeting goes. So that'll be finished up before this gets put out for, on the website for public consumption as well. Hopefully having both of those done before the end of the week, so that they'll be out a good solid week and then some ahead of the public hearing on them before planning and zoning.
Okay.
So with that, I have the kind of the clean version here, and I have a old comp plan over there that we can look at, and I stand for any changes you'd like to see, or we can just walk through the process. I do note that we will be losing David in about 15 minutes.
Yep.
And then our quorum will be lost, and so what's the best use of time that you'd like to see?
And is there any action we need to make this evening on the comprehensive plan? Okay, so I think really, let's just go through what seem to be the major sticking points, or are there any?
I mean, I went through it and didn't see anything that jumped out, like, but yeah, maybe if there's some points we think maybe are going to be the most problematic, go there.
I don't know that I would call them problematic. I would just say that we, did a, whoops. We did try to, in the beginning of the document, you are going to see it a little bit more verbiage to try to give some explanation on where we came from and where we went to, and
Right.
I think we tried to do that. I think that kind of helped it for the average reader a little bit.
So, I thought so too. Yeah.
It seems to be a little bit easier reading.
We tried. And that's one of the reasons that we're working really diligently, having fresh sets of eyes read it, so that if they catch something that says, what? Then we can go back and try to fix that. I can tell you that number 18 here is new. Groundwater was newly added by the state as having to be required to be covered. We'd already addressed that later
That
on
was
in
the
the
workshop we
comprehensive
had.
plan as a
Yeah.
separate title already. So that is new. So this 17 number down here will be updated as well. So then there was discussion previously about trying to make sure that all of those areas are covered and which chapters they're in. And so there are some of them that those areas are covered in, multiple areas are covered in a single chapter. We tried to encapsulate that better. So like, here's chapter 6 with natural resources and hazardous areas, and there's groundwater. It was right there. And again, this was an update and not a new, so we had to carry over parts of the original comprehensive plan and how that happened, as well as what happened since then to do the updates. You'll see a little bit of that as well in here. That's why the dates go all the way back to 2019. And so you'll see the update process following that, because this is an update to the plan and not a replacement of the plan. And then the same thing, we tried to help people understand the relationship between the goals and the policies and actions. Tried to make that a little bit smoother transition. And then abbreviations that are used throughout the process are listed there. And then the goals and the policies, 7 goals. And 17 policies. That looks way better than that, red line mess that
38
was
before,
happening there
yeah.
for a while, yeah. And we added a column onto both the goals and the policies that gave you the reference back to the area that we talked about previously, whether it was transportation, economic development, community development, those code letters, they refer back to that previous table. Trying to build that continuity throughout the plan. And then the demographics were updated with census data. Most of that was updated through 2023. And so you got to see how those numbers changed. And if you compare these numbers with the growth rate numbers, especially with the numbers that were in the previous plan, you'll see that that growth rate went down substantially.
It's interesting, the 90 to 2000 growth was,
That's what I thought too.
yeah.
And then we extended the growth. It's pretty flat. Updated all of those demographic tables that already existed. And then the chapter 4 land use table. And we tried to give some continuity about how we went from the past future land use map to how we got to this land use map. We identified what land uses were and kind of gave that a definition of what land uses are. And then also identified the importance of agriculture that came out in many of our comments from the public, as well as in conversations and workshops. And we identified also that agriculture took a big role in the development of the city of Hayden, and you can see that really, bright front and center in Appendix D with the history of Hayden. We also identified that these areas are rural in nature with single-family residences and large amounts of open space available to produce farm products. That came out of a workshop with City Council and Planning and Zoning. Talked about forested areas and mineral exploration areas. Then there's this very cool photo of Council President Roeder and Council Member Schaefer and Chair Taylor all at the board working on land uses. It's a cool opportunity. And we defined those future land uses that are on the future land use map as being general commercial, light industrial, mixed commercial, and that public recreation area, and then residential. We took out some verbiage.
Question?
We took out,
I don't believe it's a public hearing at this time, so.
On the land uses. I just got a question.
What's your question?
There's no agriculture.
Yeah, we had that discussion that there's no,
It's required. You
It's-
have to say,
You don't have to have a dialogue.
okay,
if you leave it out, you have to give the reason you're leaving it out. You
okay.
haven't done
And
that.
we had that discussion why we were leaving it out.
You haven't done that.
We had the discussion, thank you, Art.
I can't hear you.
We had the discussion about why we left it out, thank you.
Yeah, but it's done in writing.
Okay, well, that will be noted,
Yeah,
thank you.
second writing.
Okay, thank you.
so in the future land use map, these are land use areas. And so there's a distinction between land uses and zoning designations. And so in the comprehensive plan, we referred to the neighborhood commercial areas that would be in pocket locations, generally in residential neighborhoods, as being neighborhood commercial areas. Whereas if you're looking at the Hayden City Code, and you're looking at a neighborhood commercial area, it's gonna be referred to as a neighborhood commercial node. So there's a distinction between the two. Trying again to separate those two processes into comp plan, kind of vision and actual zoning. And then the central business district is pretty much the same thing. You have a central business district that's part of a zoning overlay, but you have a central business area, which is in your downtown location. The Coeur d'Alene Airport pretty much stayed the same, because it hasn't changed since the last master plan. We're just incorporating in the information from their master plan from 2019. And then that future land, what is available for both development and redevelopment, because the future land use map changed, how you assess how much can be built there also changed. So that's what those numbers are that we'll be filling in.
And those include area of city impact, or is that just currently?
Yeah,
Okay.
areas of impact as
Yep.
well. And they have to be brought up current from when the last one was done, which was 6 years ago. So number crunching is happening. And then the land use considerations, we just updated that table again. The airport master plan was approved in 2019. Pointing folks to the 2040 transportation strategic plan related to growth impact on transportation. Affordable housing, we added some where you could point those kinds of things related to how things develop in a residential or mixed commercial or mixed residential, mixed use kind of fashion. Conversation about preservation of open space. And again, that land use plan also allows for continued rural land uses on the outskirts of the city that may limit development of other land use types. So it's in there as well. There is some discussion here about the Hutter bypass, and again, you know, it's in the works. It's been reducing the number of options or available choices. We're down to, I think, the last 4, and we're still in the running, so you know, it's still happening out there. And then the discussion about property rights is always in the end of the land use chapter. Some more statistics on housing, and those are all brought current as well. And different housing types that you could have, types of housing you could have. And then chapter 6 was about the living in the natural environment. While we were working on the comprehensive plan update, we were also working on the all hazard mitigation update, and so much of the language kind of, we were working back and forth, so it's pretty consistent throughout. As this topic was, you know, part of that conversation. Here's that section on groundwater that had already existed in our plan that the state added to the requirements, so there wasn't much new there. And then our conversation about surface water as well with the Rathdrum, Spokane aquifers, as well as the lakes in the area. And water quality is important and always on everybody's mind. Wildfires are always on everybody's mind as well, and how that works with the wildland-urban interface. We've had that for a while, that's not new.
Did we change anything on landscape standards based on, because I remember we had a discussion about certain types of plants that were not, they were more flammable, I guess, so.
Right, so we haven't changed anything in our landscape because the landscape plans that we address as far as the city have to do with landscape buffers, not those that are really uptight to structures, generally speaking. Related to the wildland-urban interface, for those folks that are in that area that we would consider that, we add those requirements as part of annexation agreements and as part of as part of subdivision requirements as well. And we do have some subdivisions that are following those today. An emergency preparedness, here's that all hazard mitigation plan. Again, some of that language in there. Being good stewards of the environment. Chapter 7 is all about transportation, road classifications, local streets and collectors and arterials. We could do some updates to this section because we've either finished projects that were listed or are in process of finishing those. We did have a list of all of the areas we wanted to see sidewalks and what have you, and some of those have been done. For pedestrian facilities.
That's in the appendix.
It's actually, part of those are listed here as well, so part of them are done, part of them are planning to be done. And it points back, this section points back to the transportation master plan, where this information is pulled from as well. We talked about air, and either the Spokane International Airport or the Coeur d'Alene Airport. Talked about the capital improvement plan in the transportation plan and those projects, and they link right into part of the projects that the previous discussion talked about as far as getting those intersection improvements done. They're all part of the wish lists, part of them aren't. And then Hutter bypass. And some assumptions that we're kind of assuming are going to happen there, if or when, whatever happens. And then there's an economic development section. And most of that was pretty consistent, but not many changes were in this particular chapter. We did update the numbers, however, those all got updated to the 2023 American Community Survey, so they're 5 years fresher. And those industry standards that are most common in Hayden are education services, healthcare, and social assistance. Those are the bulk at 24% of the folks. Construction is about 11%. And arts, entertainment, recreation, accommodation, and food services are about 8%. And retail trade is about 15%, so that's the top four. Not surprising. I thought this map was very telling that this is the inflow and the outflow. And so you've got about 7,000 folks that come in to work in Hayden, and you have about 6,000 folks that leave. So 13,000 people passing on the road both times a day. Kind of interesting.
All right, I'm sorry, I've got to drop you guys.
Hey.
Sorry it happened last minute. I appreciate all your guys' help and work.
Thank you, Dave, for making it.
Yes. All right. Thank you, Shannon, for your help. And great presentation, Donna. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon.
Thanks.
Bye.
Goodbye.
So we don't have a quorum
Nope,
anymore.
now we have to adjourn.
Yep. So if you guys have questions about the plan, or if you have any areas that you would like me to tweak,
Nice work cleaning that up.
Yeah, it looks, I ran
Then
through
let
it
us
quite a
know
bit
and-
last
and we can
night.
get that done.
Looks
A lot easier to read.
pretty good, yeah. Okay.
So I guess we don't even get a community director's report, we just have to adjourn, right?
You can adjourn and she can just tell you
And
what
she-
it is
There we go,
anyways.
thank you. All right. We do no longer have a quorum, so meeting is adjourned. Oh, there we go. Donna, do you have a report for us at all?
I would